Another game, another challenge. This is Team Lethal versus Noventa Hibernate. They're 17 and 5, led by Dev Capilat and Eminem. This was a challenging game. We haven't been playing Pro Am consistently for like the last 2 weeks or so. So if you wonder why my uploads are kind of sporadic, they're not as consistent as I would like them to be. That's the reason why. It's like I have a roster of 12 people. I'm looking for that one last guy to complete my roster. But even with having that many people scheduling and people have jobs, people have families, it's just not always convenient to get everybody on and get 5 on to actually get a game in or get into the pro am. And the thing about it is, with the lineups that we have, everybody has to be just as capable of the next guy. Like I got some small forwards that might be playing center some of these games. Thus, there is a challenge in playing a game like this. So we haven't been playing. We've been playing in the rec. We've been killing in the rec, but everybody knows rec and team program is two totally different lanes. Like in the rec, yeah, you can come in there with probably like a random and still blow out most of those teams. But when you get in the actual team play, where the team's gonna play 2-3, they know what they're gonna do offensively. It's a lot tougher. You can't make as many mistakes. Those guys make just about every shot they take. It feel like, and that's the challenge of coming in here, especially when you haven't played as consistently as you probably should. With good teams, they know the more consistent that they play, the better they're going to be for any team. I'm watching some of the teams that I like to watch on Twitch, and they're consistently winning because they're consistently playing every day. It goes hand in hand. It's like some of the games that, even though I don't think they have the actual talent to pull off, they have the IQ to pull it off, and that's what's winning games. Because when you're at this level, sometimes it's not about actual talent, right? Just because you can drop 30 per game does not mean the team needs you to drop 30 per game. The team needs you to be a consistent scoring option, yes. But especially like if you're not the one at point guard. For example, Montage, I think, averages close to like 20, anywhere from 20 to 25 points a game when we play. If somebody's going to outscore me, it's either going to be him or it's probably going to be Certified Famous. Both of those guys are capable of dropping 40 pretty much every single game out. But it does not mean I need them to drop 40 every single game we play. If they did that, that would be great for them, but the team success would suffer just due to the fact that it'd be hard to get other people involved offensively, and you have to live with those guys taking some bad shots just to get to 40. So it's just, but being a consistent scoring option means like, can you take that shot off the catch and shoot in that split second when you're wide open? Do you know when to shoot it, when to pass it, when to put the ball on the floor, things like that. When you haven't played in a while, you get a bit rusty. So this game, I give a lot of credit to their small forward soul. I don't know how many turnovers I had in the first half. I believe I ended up with 8 turnovers though. 8. My rule of thumb is 5. 5 for me, 1 for everybody else, which equals a total of 9 turnovers. That's like the most I'm willing to live with. But it has to be like that. Like I would have had to have 5, and the rest of my teammates would have had to have 1. It can't be the thing where I have like 5 and somebody else has 4, and that's the same thing. No, it doesn't work like that. If somebody else got 4 turnovers, that's bad. That's really bad. Unless they gonna handle the ball as much as I do, that's bad. And Soul is a small forward, 198 pounds, 6'7", 97 perimeter defense, 99 steals. He's supposed to do what he did. He's supposed to be out there being annoyance, a menace, forcing turnovers. I'm pretty sure he has Menace Hall of Fame with a 97 perimeter defense, 99 steal. Probably got clamps on gold. pickpocket Hall of Fame, interceptor Hall of Fame. Got all the, everything you would want in a pure lockdown. I'm pretty sure he has it. And it showed this particular game. The one thing I'm going to talk about when it comes to Memento Hybornate is their center Bash. Bash is the prototypical 4-out, 1-in center that you want on your team. Alright, he's the guy with the orange hair that's going to be creating a lot of problems for us on both ends of the floor. He didn't miss a shot this game. He didn't miss a shot. He was 10 for 10, gave you 20 points and 10 rebounds. Not to mention he threw in 3 assists. When you play that 4-out, 1-in style, you are heavily dependent upon the center's ability to grab an offensive rebound to kick it back out to open shooters, or grab the offensive rebound and go back up and quickly score. He was able to do both. Like I said, he did miss a shot. He grabbed 10 rebounds. I'm pretty sure about 3 or 4 of those was offensive. And he gave his guards a lot of shot attempts. I mean, the point guard, Capellotti, he had 9 shot attempts. And the shooting guard, Eminem, he had 20 shot attempts. Small forward, so he had 9 shot attempts. So that is a lot of shot attempts between those 3 players alone. And that's just credit to him diving to the rim, coming up with timely offensive rebounds. And like I said, going 10 for 10, he was just very consistent when he was going to score. And they didn't turn the ball over that much. At the end of this game, like I said, I had 8 myself. As you see me right now, I currently have 4, but I ended up with 8. This team only had 6. Alright, so right there, that kind of tells you how the game was going. It was not going well for Team Lethal. Like, it wasn't going well at all. They was whooping our ass. But we're a veteran team. We kind of been in these situations before, and I kind of knew what I saw throughout the game to where I was never worried this entire game. At no point was I panicking. At no point did I yell at my teammates or anything like that. My teammates don't know. I do yell. I yell a lot, but a lot of times when I'm yelling, my mic is on mute. So they don't hear the frustration that's coming out of me, and I think it just allows them to lock in. Because the game shouldn't be stressful. For the most part, I don't really get too stressed when I'm playing. It's just like certain things to me should be automatic the way I look at it, and when we don't execute that way, I get frustrated. But for the most part, the game should never be stressful. As much as we was losing this game and they was whooping our ass, I wasn't stressed or worried about it because we haven't played in a very long time. Like, we haven't played against a quality team in a very long time. So this happens, And to be honest with you, I was looking at this game like, sure, if we lose, this is a great loss. Right? You never really want to lose, but it just humbles us. Like, we've been murdering teams in the rack. The occasional times we have, played in here, we haven't played, against any quality opponents. I mean, we've been blowing them up. It's so bad to the point where I've been playing the game sleep and we're still winning games. Like, legitly, eyes closed, snoring on the mic, sleep, and I'm the point guard. That's how bad we've been whooping other teams' ass. So it was kind of nice to have a team come in that was as good defensively. They played 2-3 and made it tough for us to get into our game plan and get into our rhythm. Now, when I come out and say these teams play 2-3, what you notice in their 2-3, it always eventually kind of turns into a 3-2 zone. No matter, because when you're going against 5-out, you can't necessarily play 2-3. 5-out beats 2-3. It's just taking advantage of the gaps in space to actually beat it, but 5-out beats 2-3. And the beautiful thing about it is I don't even have to shoot the ball. I always thought I did, because if you play 5-out, right, so I got the ball in the middle of the court. I got 4 shooters pretty much in the square. If you play 2-3 and I'm wide open, my brain says I should be shooting the ball because I'm open. And that's normally how I would execute the game plan. I would sit there, take these shots, and don't get me wrong, the defense will bait you into it. And they'll get some pretty good contests, and they'll be able, if you miss, they out and running and chucking up threes, getting fast break dunks and oops and things like that. And that used to hurt me for so long playing 2K because I always felt like, man, I gotta be able to knock the shot down. But I could never put enough attributes into my build the way I wanted to play to be able to shoot like that. So my fix to that was putting somebody else in the middle that could actually shoot it, but the problem is they couldn't read the defense the way I could. Like, I know when the shot was going to be open. For them, they get baited into a bad shot. Even though they're a better shooter, it doesn't help if they don't know how to wait out the defense and take an open shot, or wait out the defense to make an open pass. So I'm finally at a point now where I don't have to shoot the ball. I can dictate the 2-3 the way I want to. And it's just by being able to knock down a mid-range jump shot and then forcing them to let them have the center or whoever they deem in the middle of that 2-3 zone to play me 1v1. And then most of the time it's a center. And anybody that knows basketball, if a center is out there guarding the point guard, it's going to be a lot of problems for the center. Alright, you will have to be a dominant defensive weapon to get out there and guard a point guard at that position. You know, teams could get smart and start making big men that are shorter with all the defense in the world to defend something like that, but you're giving up a lot of size to guys that come in with like a 7-3 center. When you play these games, you come in with a game plan where you have to match up based on what you think is going to help you win every single game. Alright, so when these guys made these builds and they came out and they said, so you're going to be the lock and Bash, you're going to be the center, they trust that if they had to go against a team like us to where we're all pretty much 6'8", 6'9", no, anywhere between 6'7" and 6'9", that Bash's size should pay dividends in helping them secure more rebounds, and so defensive aggression should be able to stop any pick and roll combination. And then vice versa, let's say now Bash has to go against a 7'3 center, somebody bigger than him. Bash was about 7 foot, so if he had to go against a 7'3 center, they trust that his defensive capabilities could hold his own, even though clearly it's still technically a mismatch by size. You know, same thing for us. So, like I said, for my team, you'll pretty much see a small forward playing the center sometimes. You know, you'll see a 6'9" guy that's like anywhere from 215 to 225 playing the center position. So clearly we're going to get out rebound and we're going to get out hustle to a lot of stuff. But where we'll make up for it is by getting steals, deflections, get out and run, and knocking down transition threes. So you come in with the best case scenario to what you think will help you win the game. The adjustment we made in this game, a lot of people won't believe me, but the adjustment was committing to stopping them on the defensive side of the ball. I know a lot of people think, oh, you quit turning the ball over, or you guys just started making shots. But no, the team that we was playing against in Hybornate, they were so good defensively that the only way I thought that we could beat them was to be just as good defensively on our side of the ball. I tell my teammates this all the time, like, just because we're not scoring, like if a team got pretty good defense, just because we're not scoring does not mean we have to give up points on the other end. And it's a concept that at first I don't think they understood what I was saying, because they like, well, they're scoring off of fast break points and things like that. And I'm like, I know, but just because they're scoring does not mean, just because we're not scoring does not mean we have to let them score. And when it finally started clicking for them, it's like, okay, what does he mean by that? That means every time we play some defense and we get a chance to get out and run and get an easy bucket, take it. Alright? Know how to run the break, know how to run to your spots so that we can continuously get easy buckets. When we get in transition, instead of making it this half-court game, get the ball ahead or get the ball to me so I can push the break and take advantage of a mismatch. For example, if we get the rebound and we get out on the break, typically if the other team scores and they can play in their set defense, you can put the lock on me, right? If we're in a break and the lock is trying to find me, I can kick it ahead to King. I can kick it ahead to Loco, Jamaica, Montage. I can kick it ahead to one of these guys and they don't have the lock on them. So in transition, you pretty much just got a free 1v1 opportunity against one of these small guards, or you can be able to catch it and beat the center off the dribble because he's too slow. Beat him in transition off of our good defense. You know, and if they get in transition, you know, play the passing lanes correctly. Get in their way. Don't let them just have a free bucket. Bait them into a bad pass. Like, all of that is part of playing defense. So don't sit there and be like, oh, they're scoring on the fast break. Well, stop them from scoring on the fast break. I done gave everybody on my team the tools on how to do so. If we take a good shot, there should be two people back defensively. Guaranteed should always be one person back, but it should be those two wing players that was on the hash marks. They should be getting back every time to stop the break. And if they do that correctly, guess what? 9 times out of 10, you're going to be able to slow them up and make them play half court. That's something you can control. And that pays all the difference, makes all the difference in a ball game like this, to where we turned the ball over most of the time and we was losing all game, and then we finally get to the fourth quarter after gaining all that momentum in the third, and we take the lead. At the point we take the lead in this game, it was going to come down to which team was just going to make the plays down the stretch. I was looking at the stat sheet. Their point guard had 9 shot attempts. He only made 2. Their shooting guard had 20 shot attempts. He only made 9. And their small forward had 9 shot attempts, but he only made 4. So what I'm looking at is the 3 primary people that probably should score outside of the center did not shoot 50% from the field. In Team Pro-Am, you want to shoot at least 50% from the field, and you want to score at least 10 points. The point guard, 5 points. Shooting guard had 21, but he had 21 on 20 shot attempts. I've said something about that before. You cannot have the same amount of points as shot attempts. Think about it. If you just score, and that's 1 shot attempt, you can get a possible 2 or 3 points for that score. So you cannot have the same amount, especially the more shot attempts you get. You can't have 30 points on 30 shot attempts. Like, even if that's 50%, that's still shooting so bad that it's hard to help your teammates overcome it. Now, at the end of the day, if you shot 50%, at least you shot 50%, but you can't have 40 points on 40 shot attempts. you can't do it. And then the point guard, he shot 4 for 9. And Sol did a phenomenal job defensively, but he did have 12 points, but shooting under 50% is a detriment to anybody. And they had 3 guys that shot under 50%. Now, Rex, that's what I'm going to call him, the power forward. He did shoot 2 for 2, and like I said, Bash did shoot 10 for 10, which is 100% efficiency for a grand total of 24 points. But that's the only reason why the game was as close as it was. For them to have played as good a defense as they did, it hurt them to shoot so bad, especially towards the end of the game after the momentum has been set. So like I said, we forcing them into the shots we want them to take, getting out on the break. And then once you get out on the break, you're able to find those mismatches in transition. And every time we did that, that's what helped us chip away at the lead. We didn't try to do it by hitting a three every single possession. Taking a possession out of the time, played defense, and we made it a ball game. I want to give a big shout out and credit to Jamaica. Jamaica, to me, was the player that made everything work for us in the fourth quarter. Because if you notice, he did a great job of rebounding for one. He's the best rebounder I have. But he did a great job of contesting at the rim without fouling. He did a great job of hedging on the point guard to drop back down and get the board. And he did a great job of switching out to pick up the point guard when, you know, he was pretty much going to have a free fade or wide open shot attempt. And that's the reason why I don't necessarily need a traditional center, because I need my center to be able to guard point guards. It's a part of the game plan. Like, if I wanted to, I should be able to tell my center, hey, go out there and guard this 6'1" motherfucker with a 99 3 ball. And most people think, boy, you crazy, but if he can do that, think of how much better the entire team is defensively. If my point guard can guard other people's, if my center can guard other people's point guards, and me as the point guard, I can guard other teams' centers, think of how much better we are defensively. That's a tough thing to deal with. And I know how it was in the beginning, like, people used to try to, like, get that switch and be like, oh, they actually are allowing them to switch. That's why the point guard has a rim protecting takeover. And it's like, yeah, man, like, if we can play y'all like that to the point where we're showing y'all no matter how y'all try to score, y'all can't, you'll never beat us. And I think just the trust factor we have in each other defensively has turned us into a team that's really, really hard to score against and very, very tough to beat. And we don't even do everything 100% the way I want, but for the most part, everybody gives great effort. Right here, Montage is going to step up and knock down these 2 clutch free throws, essentially putting the game away. And like I said, for me to have 8 turnovers and we come back and beat a team this good, can't ask for nothing more than that. You know, big shout out to Jamaica. He made everything worthwhile this game. And it's asking a lot out of him, just as much as it's asking a lot out of Loco to be the primary defender, or Montage to be a great scorer, and King to be the secondary ball handler. Like, it's asking a lot of those guys, but they all stepping up to the challenge, and the results have been amazing. So I hope you guys have been enjoying the YouTube videos I've been putting out. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. I know you're liking the content at this point because you keep watching it. You keep coming back. Alright, you're going to see me hit level 40 here with the Thor hammer, but seriously, hit the like button on the video. That's how more people see it. Subscribe if you're new. And I'm going to continue to push to make YouTube a dream. So, it's been Lethal. I'll catch y'all in the next one. I'm out.